you know, the level of this sport that we play this sport at, you know, it's got to be an all year round commitment. I mean, we've been practicing for the summer. We just haven't had the 20 hours a week, but you know, we went really hard this summer. We've gone really hard in the preseason. Our practices have resembled much more of a practice than an off season. But again, the margins that, you know, that our games are played at, you know, we've been going hard for since June, with little pocket breaks.
You didn't have this last summer because obviously of COVID. So what benefits have you seen just getting back to your routine?
Yeah, I feel like we, you know, for us, I just feel like, you know, the amount of effort that we put into the all year round, you know, effort to develop our players and to maximize every second that we can spend with them, you know, it gives us a greater advantage, hopefully, going into the year. You know, other programs that don't quite do as much as we do, you know, all year round. So obviously, we lost that advantage last year with COVID kind of, you know, not allowing that. So we feel like, you know, we have a head start on our competition.
It sounds like quite a few guys have gotten better. Who's really impressed you since June? Anybody really come a long ways?
You know what? I think this is like a really deep team. I mean, you know, you feel like there's 10 guys that are vying for, you know, anything from potentially a starting role to, you know, almost anywhere from, you know, 6 through 10 off the bench. So, you know, the competition in here is fierce. You know, the roles right now, I don't know that, you know, that anyone's role is guaranteed beyond maybe a couple guys in terms of sure thing, going to be a starter and going to be a focal point guy. I mean, the beauty of this group is the depth, but, you know, like, you know, these next really 3 to 4 weeks of practice into the closed scrimmages are going to determine roles to start the year, and then those may even evolve based on, you know, players, you know, young guys coming along or what have you.
And you spent the first couple years instilling a culture, building a foundation. Where are you now? Putting up the drywall? Is the house finished?
Yeah, no, we feel like the culture in terms of how we prepare and you know, is there. These guys understand how to practice. I think the most important thing with the group, though, is just, you know, the confidence that, you know, where we had to win games down the stretch of the season, we were in a series of must-win games, you know, to get it to be an NCAA at-large team. You know, we had to go, you know, on the road to Seton Hall and you know, go to Xavier and go to Georgetown, and then, you know, we couldn't afford to have any slip-ups at home. Like, we had to play, you know, games down the stretch of the season that we knew we couldn't lose. So getting over the hump with that is a huge confidence builder, and now, you know, now we're we'll take the next step.
How do you feel like about the schedule? You know, what's out there and kind of how it's set up and everything?
The league?
The schedule, just overall your little schedule.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's I don't really get into, you know, that. You know, I just didn't like the fact that, you know, we play 4 games, you play 4 conference games, you get a bye, you play 4 conference games, and then you get a bye, and then you play 12 straight conference games, and you go right to the conference tournament, and then, I mean, if that's, you know, I'm not sure what that is. I voiced my displeasure on that. I mean, the rest of it, I don't really, you know, really care. I mean, I can nitpick things, but you know, you look at other teams in the league. You know, we, you know, I think, you know, we did a good job for the league last year. You know, we throwing really 3 teams with at-large resumes last year. We were 1 of 3, so we did a lot for the team, for the league last year, coming in and bringing an extra bid from the American into the Big East. You know, put a guy in the lottery, which is obviously good for the league and good for the brand. That you know, that bothered me a lot, but nothing happened.
Speaking of the missing man, Book Night, how do you think it's going to play out? Are you going to replace his 20 crunch time points and the way he can score and flourish? That guy, Book Night.
Oh, yeah,
was here last
James.
year.
Yeah, he was on the team last year. Yeah, I mean, well, we've got to be a top 15, top 10, top 15 team defensively in the country. We've got to be one of the best rebounding teams in the country. We feel like there's multiple guys that could give us 15 or more on a night. Just like our depth, our balance on offense. The amount of guys that can beat you on a given night has got to, replace the dynamic, James, and I don't see that as being a problem because we returned so many guys and we've got some talented new guys.
And Adama last year, obviously a very good freshman year, foul trouble being one of the issues. How does he get better? How do you work on that in practice to try to get him to avoid getting into those situations?
Yeah, I mean you put him you put him out in space more. And work with him on his technique and his fundamentals of a defensive stance and being less handsy, just less handsy when he's moving his feet on the perimeter. But, he's like burgeoning great player and a guy that he looks so good right now. I mean, he's been our best player. He's usually our best player. And, I don't... he's going to see a lot of help. He's going to see a lot of double teams. He's got to work really, really hard on his ability to pass the ball out. But that's a man on a mission right there. He could, he's a special guy.
And similar to that, just with Andre, obviously he used to work on his shooting. Is that individual instruction, repetition? How do you work on that?
Yeah, I mean, if he takes the right type of threes, Andre will. I think he'll make enough for people to have to respect him. But there's like 5, 6, 7 other things that this guy can do at such an elite level that that the shooting kind of gets overstated to a degree. So he should be one of the best perimeter defenders in the country, absolute elite. And he should be a playmaker at the defensive end, like getting in passing lanes, like big-time blocks, transition game offensively. When this guy gets in the open court, they can't load the paint against him. Offensive rebounder, I mean, elite level stuff. As a guy that can drive the ball, get downhill, and see the floor and finish big at the rim. I mean, there's so many things this guy can do if he just sticks to the script of how he needs to play. And that's really the biggest thing right now. It's like shoot, catch and shoot rhythm threes, and then stick to the script of these other things that you could do elite level.
How important is it to the
Floyd?
What's that?
Do you have a plan in mind yet for Floyd? Or is it going to be?
Yeah, I mean,
what you say?
yeah, I mean, our plan coming in here was, I think Corey's obviously he's a baller, and he's very advanced in terms of his approach. He's very professional and he's very serious. So he's kind of blown us all away with how mature he's been in practice. But he's obviously this is a big learning year for him, and we're going to lose a number of older players, and we want to put him in a position by the end of this year that we feel like he could really help us the following year.
Is that how you feel about all 4 of the freshmen? You want to get them, real reps during this season, so next year when you lose all these guys, you're going to have guys stepping in.
Yeah, I mean, Rasul's in the blender every day. He's playing against a 5th-year senior and a 3rd-year junior that have both played major minutes. So Rasul's probably had the toughest time of the three freshmen. Sampson, the sky's the limit for him. I mean, his potential is he's got wall potential. I don't want to put too much pressure on the young man, but he's got wall potential over there. And Jordan as well, just the flash of talent. There's obviously these guys are lost defensively, and have got a lot of the toughness things they've got to get better at in order for us to play them as much as they want to play. But those 2 guys in particular, their talent level, Jordan and Sampson, it's significant.
And from the outside looking in, it looks like you have a lot of interchangeable parts, 3, 4, 5 guys who can switch positions. And what does that do for you? Do you see it that way? And what does that do for you as a coach in terms of being able to do different defenses, different offenses?
Yeah, I mean, you've got at least 4 front court guys to play the 4 and 5. Guys that have put enough quality out there in Adama, Isaiah, Cook, and Sampson. I mean, it's hard to get on the court in a front court if we play it bigger, you know, and then to have guys like Tyler or Tyrese that you could play, you know, play smaller with at the 4, you know, and still have guys like, you know, Andre or Jordan, like bigger 6'5", 6'6" guys to even when you're playing small, you're still 6'6", 6'7", 6'6", and then a big. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on these guys on a daily basis to bring value to the court to help us win or to play the role that we need them to play because there's a guy right next to them or behind them that wants those minutes. So, I mean, it puts me in a great spot.
It must be good for a coach.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a far cry from from when you first get here and you feel handcuffed and you're just trying to figure out a way to put 5 guys out there. Now it's, a good player that's not doing the things that we need him to do for us to win isn't going to play.
Dan, year 5 for Isaiah. What do you think of this whole journey to become such an important part of the program, and what do you hope for him this coming year?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great message, and it's a good thing for, it's like the anti-portal, the anti, if things don't go my way quickly, I try to find an easier route. I mean, it's a great message for, I think, for the culture of basketball that it's, you do more damage to your future when you just run from challenges and refuse to take a look in the mirror and work on your deficiencies. Isaiah worked on his deficiencies. He made himself invaluable, and he's the poster child for us in player development in a lot of ways. Obviously, Book Night is because you bring in, you take a guy with NBA talent that wasn't a sure thing draft pick and he becomes a lottery pick, but Isaiah is like poster boy for player development.
What is it he can give you now that he wouldn't have been able to give you 2 or 3 years ago?
Pretty much everything. I mean, just, obviously, he's a weapon in ball screen defense. He's an underrated passer. His basketball IQ and like game management is very, very good. The only thing that we need him to do is to make 33% from 3 and shoot 3 of them a game or something. If he could do that, I mean, it'd be a dream come true because he gives you great positional versatility. And he's a guy when you play him bigger at the 4 with Adama, he could pass it and hopefully shoot it well enough for you to play that way. And then when Adama's out, like he's a great 5-man too, like a smaller 5 that like is really good at that spot too. So he's got unbelievable value.
Is a Cook still a mystery at this point, or do you know what you have with him?
No, I mean he's, these guys, like the Jalen and Cook and like the program and the team is so. You're different than the team the freshman year, where we were struggling to win and find an identity. Now you like these guys come into an environment every day where there's nothing but quality up and down the roster, as opposed to like that that first year where guys played like his first year he started because he was really good, but also kind of by default because there wasn't a whole lot of places we could go at that point. So Cook is he's a guy that brings a ton of value as a defender, a rim protector. But we need our 4 men to make threes this year. We need those guys to be a threat. And then if they're not necessarily a threat from the 3-point line, then we have to absolutely devastate people in the paint, on the offensive glass, or being able to throw it inside. So the challenge with guys like Isaiah, or Cook, Sampson, like Richie, guys that play before is that they can't really kill our spacing when we do play bigger. They've got to be able to give us some things out behind the line, or they've got to be just devastating when we play 2 bigs.
Anything particularly you want to work on this preseason? I mean, or just keep advancing the program?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to get better. I think, with our running game. But the funny thing about transition is, when you play not every team sends guys to the offensive glass. So, like when you're playing Creighton in the Big East semis, and they send one guy to the offensive glass and get 4 back in transition, it's hard to get out and be devastating in transition. So, but that's important for this group, though. We are very athletic. It plays to the strengths of our wings. So transition game, but really, we need to be an elite defensive team. We need to be an elite rebounding team. We need to be a top 15. We got to go from top 30 in defense to top 15. We've got to go and become a top 10 rebounding team in the country and absolutely devastate people at the defensive end and on the backboard. And then we're going to play through our best players. Obviously, Adama's one of them. You expect RJ to be one of them. And obviously guys like Tyrese, but we're going to play through Adama. He, right now he's our best player.
Is that something new for you, at least at the collegiate level, to play through a big man?
Yeah, this brings me back to high school. Samardo Samuels, Tristan Thompson, Greg Echenike, Daves. I think that was like one team I had where Tristan played the three. He's been like a center in the NBA, so that's how loaded we were in high school. But yeah, I mean, obviously at Wagner, it's hard to recruit those big-time interior guys. But at Rhode Island, Hassan Martin, was the best big guy in Atlantic 10 and was an absolute ass kicker outside of that league. So and he was, our best player, if not one of our two top guys there. So, but no, Adama's like, when you see what the guy does daily, he's a special player.
Has RJ evolved through the summer and stuff, or you see a difference in him confidence-wise or anything else?
Yeah, I mean, he's more accomplished, but like I got on, some of the older guys today. I didn't love, maybe because we've practiced so hard since the summer that it didn't feel like the first day of practice for them, because we go so hard, because again, the margins that we play out are so it's just so damn competitive. There's no separation between the 20th ranked team in the country and maybe the 70th ranked team. So we have to be, on our shit every day to win by 2 on the road. So I got on the older guys today because I didn't think they had enough pop, and RJ was one of those guys, and these guys should be sharpening their tools every day and preparing for. A season where the fans are back and the first real Big East season and the excitement. And, so, I mean, in theory, RJ should be leading the group, but he's got to be better than he was today.
Did you recharge over the summer for a little time to take off?
Shit, yeah. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm shot out of a cannon. I'm ready to go. I'm like...
Where'd you go? I'm fascinated by how you spend your downtime.
I was in the Jersey Shore, like reconnecting with some old friends. That was good for me. I did more of the beach. I couldn't get, I like to go out, and hit like Montana or maybe like Wyoming and do or maybe even like Saranac or something, and maybe, go do that outdoor thing, but we couldn't pull it off. So I did a lot of just Jersey friends, old friends, family I haven't seen in years, and that recharged me pretty good.
No Narragansett?
I did get there for my anniversary. That was nice. I got there. I got over to see my man Perry and Tunic Oyster Bar.
How much have you been thinking about that first Big East game with a crowd at Gamble or at the XL Center, and what that's going to mean to you and what that's going to mean to this team?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so excited for you get very jealous when you turn on to college football and you see crowds, even going to our football game against Purdue, and it was a pretty cool atmosphere in there, and it just, I can't wait for that. I mean, you can't wait for that. I don't know if it's any specific opponent, but it's like I can't wait for first night where, where what we do is gonna, be more basketball centered. And then like opener, and then Big East opener, and Atlantis, and just want to fast forward. But I love this part too. I love the build up. I love the grind, the practice. I love this whole process too. People have to earn their roles, not just expected to be handed to them.
How about expectations? You're going to have some this year. People think you're going to be good.
Yeah.
Do you like that? You
No,
like to sneak
no.
up on people?
Yeah, no, my whole life being a Hurley in Jersey, I've always had to sneak up on people. No, you don't come here or want to do the basketball thing the way I've always done it with my family, unless you love pressure and love expectations and want to take a step closer to being a program that is thought of as a championship contender year in and year out. I mean, that's what you come here for, to build. And with recruiting and what we were able to do last year in development, we feel like we're getting closer.
Close enough to achieve that this year at some point, or is it too early to tell?
Yeah, I mean, it's early. It's, like you feel, obviously, you bring back so many veteran players, and then you feel like you have some talented freshmen that, especially later in the year, are going to really, really, bring some components to another talent infusion. I mean, you look at teams that make runs in the NCAA tournament last year. I mean, I know it was not your typical year, but there was teams that were in play-in games, or Oregon State, who had to win the conference tournament to get in, and then an Elite Eight team, or UCLA was, I think they were down 12 or 14 in the play-in game, and they were in the Final Four. So, yeah, I mean, it's like we've got a veteran team, an older team. Biggest concern is just the guard play. We've got to have consistent quality guard play. If that's there, we have all the ingredients.